Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome. So glad to be here today. Glad I got this running. I've been doing some spring cleaning and I moved my set so it's not all together. But it looks like I'm able to get it to work and we're streaming live and the stream seems excellent in health. Excellent in health doesn't necessarily mean excellent in quality. But anyway, today let's talk about narrative laundering. That's the art of making up lies, making them smell like roses. It's like putting It's like putting lipstick on a pig, calling it Lizzo. Stop. She's beautiful. These narrative launderers are like professional magicians, except instead of pulling a rabbit out of hats, they're pulling fabricated stories out of thin air. Our brains have some hilarious default settings, and this is the key here. One is truth bias, where we believe anything anyone says, even if it's more absurd than choosing a mate based on their star sign, right? It's like our brains are programmed to think, well, they said it confidently, so it must be true. And then there's the illusory truth effect. The more we hear something, the more we believe it. Even if it's as believable as Congress promising to balance the budget. Ugh. It's like our brain goes, hey, I've heard this a million times, so it must be true, right? Right? So these sneaky narrative launderers flood social media with fake accounts, fake news, emotional language. It's like they're running a circus, but instead of elephants and acrobats, they've got a troupe of professional BS artists juggling the latest talking points. But fear not, it is possible to fight back about this with the power of critical thinking. It's like a mental superhero cape that protects us from all this deceptive BS. Question everything with the skepticism of a cat staring at a cucumber. And expose these narrative launderers like the emperor with no clothes. Because in the battle between truth and lies, I know what side I'm on, and it's definitely not the side trying to convince you that the government has our best interest at heart. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. Yeah, so narrative laundering. Anyone else getting low volume? Oh my goodness. Hang on. Let's see. How's the volume? Is the volume good? How about now? Is it a little better? Low volume here. Okay, let's see. Let's see if it's a little better. Not better. Huh. Maybe it is. Maybe it is now. Fixed. Okay. So we got the volume fixed. Sorry about that. Like I was saying, I'm doing a little spring cleaning. Although I guess it's summer now. Not officially, right? Officially, summer doesn't start for another couple weeks. But we all think of it as summer now. And I was doing some spring cleaning. Actually painted the ceiling here. So I had to move my studio, move it back. And boy, I really realized I've got to label every single wire and where every single wire goes. Because, yeah, it's tough getting it back together. Anyway, we're talking about narrative laundering. And this is a manipulative technique used to spread, let's say, disinformation or propaganda by making it appear trustworthy. And it relies on our tendency to believe what we read. And if we react emotionally to things, we give it more credibility. Okay? And also, the more you see something, the more frequent you see things, the more likely you are to believe it. So this is why I think that the media is the most powerful thing that there is. There's nothing more powerful than the media because they can choose what they're distributing, the truths that they're distributing. So narrative laundering has been used for a lot of things. It's been used for some conspiracy theories. It might be used for some stereotypes. It might be used for some bad ideas. But it's also being used to promote falsehoods, lies, distortions, all those things. And so I just want you to be aware of how this works, okay? So the two main points in narrative laundering are, one, we just have this sense that if someone seems genuine when they're speaking, we give them the benefit of the doubt and we believe them. I think it's probably necessary as a human being. You know, you can't be so skeptical that you don't believe anyone that anyone says. Oh, Gesundheit. And the other one is the frequency that things are shown. So if you keep hearing stories about something, if you keep hearing it over and over and over again, you think, well, I've heard it so many times, there's got to be something there. There's got to be something to it. So those are the two main points about narrative laundering. And now that you're aware of that, now you can be on the lookout for that as well. Because there's a lot of narratives that are being laundered. And I will prove that today with the stories that I've chosen. And again, it's always easy to just say, you need to be a critical thinker. And how does that work, right? Nobody says, oh, well, thank you. It's kind of like reminding someone to think. Hey, be sure to think about something. You go, well, I'm glad you mentioned that. I guess I will think about it now. That doesn't really work, right? You can't tell someone to, hey, think about your decision. Think about what you're hearing. No one wants to think about things. So I can tell you, but I'm not talking about you. You, my audience, you all know to critically examine things. I'm talking about the other people. That's who I'm talking about. Yeah. So anyway, by practicing critical thinking that I know that we all have, we can minimize the effect of this narrative laundering on our beliefs and opinions. So that's the main point on this Big Idea Wednesday. That's the big idea, narrative laundering. Got a couple of stories to get to today. Yeah, let's just jump right into it. Okay, I've spoken about this story before, but I'm bringing it back. You heard about the Brazilian president, Lula. He's proposed a common currency for South America. Yeah, because nothing says unity like trying to agree on money with your neighbors. I mean, it's hard enough to split a pizza bill with friends, let alone an entire continent. Can you imagine the arguments? No, Argentina, we're not putting Evita's face on the bills. So I say, good luck, Lula. You'll need it. So President Luis Ignacio Lula da Silva, president of Brazil, has proposed the creation of a common currency for a Mercosur trade bloc. Okay, and this is going to include the countries of Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, and Uruguay. Lula aims to strengthen the South American identity in monetary policy and establish a shared unit of transaction for trade within the region. He also emphasized the need for regional development banks to provide more financing for social and economic development. However, analysts, codename analysts, right, are skeptical about the feasibility of this project due to the varying monetary policies across the region. The Eurozone's experience is cited as an example where discussions of a common currency began in the 50s, followed by the establishment of free trade zones, customs agreements, and common market before the creation of a commission, council, and tribunal to oversee the process. So they're saying this is going to be a lot of work, but I think it's very interesting that it's happening now, because what has happened to world leaders that have proposed new currencies that challenge the US dollar? Well, Gaddafi wanted a North African dinar, right? A gold dinar. And he soon met his fate. He met with some democracy, right? In the form of revolution, CIA-backed revolution, and that was the end of that. But right now, we are seeing the US dollar just giving up on everything. The US seems to just allow, they're not protecting the dollar anymore. And this was not true a year and a half ago. But now, I guess everyone is free to just run away from the US dollar. It's really weird. I don't understand it, because prior to the conflict in Ukraine, the US would go after anyone that dared talk about trade not using the reserve currency as the US dollar. And now that we're allowing this, it's kind of got me scared. That's been how it's been my whole life. You propose a different reserve currency, you propose not using the petrodollar for your energy purchases, you're going to meet with democracy real quick. That's what's happened. And now it doesn't seem to be the case. So, yeah, Brazil's going for it. With Argentina, new little powerhouse in South America. And as Brazil is part of BRICS trading group, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, this new currency could really take off and do quite well. So we're just going to have to see how this develops. And I think that they will be able to push something through a lot quicker than than it took the EU to come together on a common currency. But we'll just have to see about that. Okay, no jokes about this story. Tara Reade, a woman who accused Joe Biden of sexual assault during the 2020 presidential race, has appeared in Moscow and expressed her desire to obtain Russian citizenship. Reade, who briefly worked in Biden's congressional office in '93, claimed she felt physically threatened and sought protection in Russia after a Republican lawmaker warned her about potential danger. In an interview with the Russian media outlet Sputnik, Reade stated that she felt safe, heard, and respected upon arriving in Russia. Reade's allegations against Biden surfaced in early 2020, alleging he sexually assaulted her in 1993, which Biden denied. Although Reade said she filed a complaint at the time, no record had been found. It's unclear if her allegations have been formally investigated. Doesn't look like they have. Reade mentioned that she faced threats, imprisonment, and accusations of being a Russian agent after going public with her claims. Sitting alongside Maria Butina, a former Russian spy, Reade expressed her admiration for Russia and requested Russian citizenship from Vladimir Putin, while also wanting to retain her U.S. citizenship due to concerns for her safety in the United States. So, this is a kind of an interesting story. I have heard some people claim that she doesn't have a whole lot of credibility. I've heard other people say that she has a lot of credibility and her story is very valid. We've never really seen the corporate media look into this story. We haven't seen them really report on this other than to smear Miss Reade. I can totally understand feeling threatened and wanting to leave the country. I'm not sure why she had to go to Russia. I think if you're just in fear of the, something happening to you, it does happen quite a bit. It happens a bit in Russia as well, right? Enemies of Putin seem to walk off the sky deck. I don't know. They all have a very bad sense of direction, and they're up on tall buildings, and they just walk out the window. Yeah. But that kind of thing happens here, although it's not quite as blatant. When people are assassinated here in the U.S., there's usually a really good cover story for it. Like it was a simple robbery gone wrong. Things like that. But there's plenty of reason to be afraid of certain political people. And I would definitely be afraid if I had made that accusation like Miss Reade did. So I understand her going to Russia. I don't know. And I can't read her motives. I don't know her motives in this at all. I think I would feel safe going anywhere outside the U.S. if I felt that my life were threatened. Just go to the beach of Mexico. I think you're going to be pretty safe down there. I think the key is they want you to shut up, right? And so if you are afraid and you leave the country and you shut up, you're probably going to be fine. So maybe she wants to talk a lot more about this, and that's why she went to Russia. I'm just speculating. You can speculate in the comments, which, by the way, I'll be going through all the comments in the after show. Everybody on Rumble, looks like Rumble's really happening today. We got lots of chatter over there, and I'll be going through the YouTube chat as well in the after show. That's after I play the goodbye music. But just a nice little thing. If you have made it this far, do me a favor, hit that like button. Let's get it. Let's get some likes on Rumble. Let's get some likes on the YouTube. It makes a difference, apparently, is what they're saying. But as far as this Tara Reade story, it really goes to show you how they can launder a narrative. And so the narrative that we've heard about her is not giving her the platform in corporate media to express her accusations, right? But any accusation about Trump, any accusation seems to get nonstop news, gets coverage in the entire corporate press. But a very serious allegation about Joe Biden doesn't seem to get coverage at all. And so that's part of how they launder these narratives. If you don't see it much, you think there can't be much there because no one's really talking about it. That's how it works. So next, we've got another story about laundering narratives. James Comey, a former FBI director, recently went on CNN to defend his bureau's action during the Trump administration. He claimed that he did absolutely nothing wrong and not targeted anyone, especially Republicans. It's like he's auditioning for a political version of The Wizard of Oz, where he's a scarecrow, desperately searching for a brain. It's as if he's trying to convince us the FBI is just a bunch of cuddly teddy bears hugging both sides of the political aisle. But let's be real, folks. If the FBI were a sports team, it'd be the Dodgers, dodging all reality and all responsibility. Yeah. So, former FBI Director James Comey appeared on CNN this morning. That's the name of the show. And defended the Bureau against allegations that it targeted Republicans during the Trump administration. Oh, what could anyone think that happened? Comey dismissed the idea as crazy and attributed it to the perception that Donald Trump and his associates saw the FBI as a threat. Well, they were a threat. He expressed confidence that the FBI's reputation would eventually recover from the current controversy surrounding Trump and the MAGA movement. When asked about Special Counsel John Durham's report, which criticized the FBI's handling of the Trump-Russia investigation, Comey stated he had no regrets and downplayed any significant revelations in the report. So, yeah, that's it. James Comey, nothing to see here. FBI doesn't go after any conservatives, Republicans. What are you thinking? That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. And this is just an example of narrative laundering. So what will happen? He goes on CNN. He gives this interview. And I guarantee you, the entire corporate press will write stories about his appearance. And they will use it to downplay the idea that the FBI did go after conservatives. They absolutely did. Not just the FBI, I mean the IRS did as well. Lots of the government has been doing that. But then everyone will report on this, and they will report that, Russiagate, yeah, it's still real, and James Comey did nothing wrong, and he's a good guy, and the real problem that we have, the real problem with the FBI is Trump says mean things about the FBI. And that's the real problem of what's going on here. It has nothing to do with every single thing the FBI is doing. No. The real problem is when people criticize it. Yeah. Again, narrative laundering. That's another example. But lastly, we need some good news today, so let's get to some good news. Yeah, did you hear about movie theaters trying to woo back audiences? They're going all out with heated reclining seats, gourmet sushi, special effects. It's like they're saying, why stream movies at home when you can have an expensive day spa with explosions? Yeah. Movie theater operators are hoping a lineup of wide releases this summer will bring back audiences after the slump caused by the pandemic. To entice moviegoers, theaters are upgrading their facilities with special features like heated reclining seats, special effects, and expanded food options. However, these improvements come at a higher cost, and some theaters are charging more for premium screens. While the industry remains optimistic, it may take years to recover from pandemic losses. Theaters are investing in technology and focusing on quality over quantity, with smaller venues and fewer screens. They're also exploring additional revenue sources like hosting events. Success still depends on the popularity of movies. Yeah. And this summer's releases are expected to continue the industry's recent positive momentum. So, have you been to a theater since lockdowns? I have not. I have not been to a movie theater, mainly because there hasn't been a movie that I want to see. I kind of wanted to go see Fast X in the theater opening weekend with all the people making an experience, but now it's been out for a while. It's not quite the same. It's a little bit fun to go with a packed house and everyone's screaming open at night. But I don't know. What's it been out 2 weeks now? Probably too late for that experience. But now the new thing that they're talking about is having special effects in a theater. That sounds crazy. That would be really cool, actually, if there were explosions or something and then they had someone running pyro in the theater. I don't think that that's happening, though. I don't think that that's happening. We did get a new theater here a couple years ago. You know, these smaller theaters that are kind of like living rooms. The problem with that, though, is I have a living room, you know, and I have my own theater, right? And I have all the snacks I want and all the booze I want. So going to a place that mimics my living room doesn't really appeal to me as much. I don't know. I kind of like the bigger audience feel. I think that that's one thing that you can't ever get away from. That there's something really special about going to a big action movie or a big comedy with a packed house. But I don't know. Is this going to get me back in the theater? Probably not. Probably not. What about you? I heard they're bringing Movie Pass back. Movie Pass might be back. But would this get you back going into the theater if they offer you better snacks and a more luxurious experience? Perhaps. I don't know. Just we'll have to see. I guess I'll have to wait for a movie that I actually want to watch. Go to the theater to watch. So anyway, that's all I have today. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow and with more stuff. Stick around for the after show. I'll be going through all your comments and letting you in on why the set looks totally different. Okay. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful day. Peace. Well, it looks like I don't have the music coming through. So that's something else I have to fix. It's always something, isn't it? Anyway, here we are in the after show. Let's check out what's happening in the chats. Let's see. Natasha said, look like the party's over. Guess I'll head over to Rumble. Okay, yeah, lots more people on Rumble today. Peace, y'all, says N1K or N1CKEP. Nickip. Yes. Erie Fairies checking in. Scarecrow was her favorite. Nice. Hi, Tom. Hi, chat. Listening while working. Good. I usually don't go to movies, but I do go to the drive-in with some friends last year. And then Miranda says, Erie, we're all over on Rumble. Apothecary John checking in. I always hear the music in my head anyway, LOL. Yeah. One more wire. I wasn't sure where it went, so I... Let's see if I can... There we go. Let's get this over here. One more wire. Let's see. Oh, I'll get it sorted. But over on Rumble, lots of people checking in. Duggo, yo, what's up? Anyone else getting low volume? Yes. So I think I fixed the low volume on my mic. I'll figure out the volume for the sound effects. Still no smiley face to post emoji by text box. Okay, Miranda, I will do this today. I will get both of my phones and I will film using Rumble. I will have that for you tomorrow. Tomorrow I will try to figure that out. Because that's the thing. You keep bugging me, And I mean that in a positive way, right? Keep reminding me of things. Eventually I'll get it. Eventually I'll do it. Gaddafi proposed common currency for Africa that was based on gold. Guess what happened next? Yeah, he met democracy. That's what happened next. It's time to go central bank digital currency. Worship the beast while you're at it. Is anyone complaining that it should be named ma'am? Fear is what is keeping many people quiet about much wrongdoing. I think fear, but also, you know what? A lot of people just don't look into things. It's not a big deal to them, and so they don't. You know, if you don't think about things, you know, it's like you don't know what you don't know. True Meeps says, I'm over on Rumble now too. Right on. Good to see all the people here on Rumble. They may add more seasons on Showtime to Jeff Daniels' The Comey Rule too. I did read the Comey book, and I tell you what, I am just generally not impressed by the man. I think I called him a nerd about 26 times in that review. But it just is gaslighting. I mean, the fact that he could say such a thing and not get any pushback from CNN kind of tells you what you need to know about them. Someone's playing with the emotes. Nice. Glad to see. I should be making some more emotes here in the next day or two. I've been promising that. We'll get to it. It says, I quit going to the theaters because the chairs hurt me. Veronica on Riverside is doing theater special effects. Okay, so theater special effects. Be interesting. I'm boycotting Hollywood. I understand the idea of boycotting Hollywood. I just bought tickets to Sound of Freedom, true story on sex trafficking based on Tim Ballard. He's a national treasure. Says Trump Gal 70. Well, welcome to the chat, Trump Gal. I don't know that Sound of Freedom movie. If it's a true story based on sex trafficking, I don't know. It's not really selling it to me. That's not sounds really depressing. But you know, perhaps it's a good movie. I will give a Google. I will give a search for the movie and see what it's about. And Apothecary John coming in with the Rumble emote, not complaining, just telling. Yeah, that's true. I understand. It's interesting when we choose certain words. They may have the same meaning, but they kind of carry a different feel to them. And so I joked about complaining, but yes, you were reminding me. And that's fair. I was talking with my doctor, and he made a comment in my permanent record, right, in my record, about that I refused some kind of jab, right? And I said I don't care for the word refused in there. I said, because that carries a lot of weight to it. I would prefer if you would change that word to declined. I declined it. I didn't refuse it. Although technically they're the same words, right? But when you say that you refuse something, it carries a lot more emotion than if you decline something. Decline something, it sounds like an unemotional thing. And so that's just a reminder that a lot of times some words carry more emotion than others. And just to tie it back into the narrative laundering, to launder narratives, they really try to bring out some emotion in you. Because when you are more emotional, you are more manipulatable. Okay? You're easier to control, you're easier to lie to if they're able to get your emotions going. And so that's just something else to be aware with narrative narrative laundering. So anyway, that's it. That's the show today. I appreciate y'all more than you realize. I'll be back tomorrow with another show, and hopefully it'll be, knock on wood, even better. Even better. Every show is getting better. So let's make it better for tomorrow. Anyway, have a beautiful day. I will see y'all later. Peace.